Good afternoon, all. Welcome to the lecture of number theory. Okay, I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in last lecture, we have defined one function, that is Euler's phi function. What is the Euler's phi function? If n is any integer which is greater or equal by 1, then phi of n is nothing but the number of integers which are less than or equal to n and which are relatively prime to n, which is nothing but the Euler's phi function. Okay, now there is one result. For any given integers a, b, c, integers a, b, c, GCD of a comma bc is equal to 1 if and only if and only if GCD of a comma b equal to 1 and GCD of a comma c is equal to 1. Okay, so here we have given any arbitrary three integers a, b, and c, and we have to prove that GCD of integers a comma b, c is equal to 1 whenever GCD of a, b, comma GCD of a and b equal to 1 and GCD of a c equal to 1, and GCD of a comma b equal to 1 and GCD of a comma c equal to 1. Then we have to prove that GCD of a comma b c is again 1. That is, as it is a if and only if statement, then we have to prove this one in two steps. Okay, see its solution. Case 1. Assume that GCD of a comma bc equal to 1. So here we have assumed that GCD of these two integers a comma bc will be equal to 1, and now we have to show that GCD of ab is 1 and GCD of ac is also 1. Okay, now let d be a GCD of a comma b. Okay, that is d is the greatest common divisor of these two integers. As this one is the greatest common divisor, then by definition of this GCD, d divides a and d divides b. As d divides a and d divides b, then d divides any multiple of this a and b, which implies d divides an integer a and d divides an integer b into c for any c belonging to set of integer. Okay, so here as d divides a and d divides bc, that is d is the common divisor of these two integers a and bc, which implies as this one is a common divisor, then d must be less equal by GCD of these two integers a and bc. Since here we get d divides a and d divides bc, that is d is the common divisor of a and bc. Whether it is greatest or not, it is don't know, but as it is a common divisor, then its GCD must be greater or equal by d. If d is the GCD of a and bc, then it must be equal, and if it is GCD of a comma bc is greater than 1, then d is just a common divisor of these two integers a and bc. So d is less equal by GCD of a and bc, but we have assumed that GCD of bc will be equal to 1, which implies d is less equal by 1, since we have taken GCD of a comma bc equal to 1. Now as d is the greatest common divisor of two integers a and b, and we know that GCD is always a positive, that is GCD is always greater or equal by 1. So here d is less equal by 1 and d is the GCD of ab. From that, as d is the GCD of ab, then it implies this d must be greater or equal by 1. Okay, and here we get d is less equal by 1. Then from these two, there is only one possibility for this value of d, which is 1 only. So d equal to 1. So as d equal to 1, which implies that GCD of an integers a and b is equal to 1. So here we get GCD of ab equal to 1. Similarly, we can prove that GCD of ac is also 1. In that case, we have to assume that some d1 is the GCD of a and c. As d1 is the GCD of a and c, then d1 divides a and d1 divides c. As d1 divides c, then d1 must divide its any multiple, that is d1 divides b into c. So we get d1 divides a and d1 divides b into c, which implies d1 is less equal by GCD of a and bc. Since d1 is the common divisor of a and bc, therefore d1 must be less equal by GCD of a and bc, which implies d1 is less equal by 1, which is from u1. That is, we have assumed that GCD of these two integers a comma bc will be equal to 1. as d1 is less equal by 1, and as d1 is the GCD of two integers a and c, then it must be greater equal by 1. Again, there is only one possibility for the value of d1, which is 1. Hence, from that we get d1 equal to 1, and d1 is nothing but the GCD of ac. Therefore, if GCD of two integers a comma bc equal to 1, then the GCD of ab is 1 and GCD of ec will be equal to 1. Therefore, the first part will be proved. Now, in second case, we have to assume this one, and we have to prove that GCD of a comma bc equal to 1. Okay, case 2, assume that, or suppose that, GCD of an integers a comma b equal to 1 and GCD of the two integers a comma c equal to 1, and we have to prove that GCD of these. Yes.
जॉईन होता येत नाही काय जणांना अजून
जॉईन करायला सांगा त्यांना.
हां
Okay, so in second case, we will take GCD of AB will be equal to 1 and GCD of AC equal to 1, and we will prove GCD of A comma BC will be equal to 1. Okay, let D1 be the GCD of A comma BC. Okay, whatever it will be, either it will be 1 greater than 1. We will take D1 as a GCD of A comma BC, but we have to prove that GCD of this A comma BC will be equal to 1. If possible, suppose that this d1 is greater than 1. As d1 is greater than 1, it implies that this d1 has at least one prime factor. If d1 is itself a prime, then it is only a prime factor. If it is composite, then we know that any composite integer can be expressed as a product of primes. As here we have taken d1 is greater than 1, which implies it has a prime factor. It has a prime factor. That is, if d1 itself is a prime, then it is the only prime factor, and if d1 is not a prime number, then and we know that any composite integer can be expressed as a product of primes. Therefore, there exists at least one prime factor for this d1. Okay, so it has a prime factor, which it means some prime divides d1, that is p divides d1, but d1 is nothing but the GCD of a comma bc, but d1 is nothing but GCD of two integers a comma bc, which implies d1 divides a and d1 divides bc. But here we get one prime factor for this d1, which implies p divides a and p divides b into c. Since p is a prime factor of d1, p divides d1, d1 divides a, then by transitivity p divides a, and similarly p divides bc. But here p is a prime and p divides the product of two integers. Then from this we say that if p divides a into b and p is a prime number, then
P divides either A or P divides B.
which implies p divides b or p divides c. So there are two possibilities, either p divides b or p divides c, or it divides both p and c. In first case we will take p divides b. Okay, here if suppose p divides b, so already p divides a, so p divides a and p divides b, that is p is the common divisor of these two integers a and b, which implies GCD of a and b is greater or equal by p. Since here we get p is a common divisor of these two integers a and b, then its GCD must be greater or equal by p, since it has at least one prime that is prime divisor, which is a common divisor of both integers a and b. This is for first case. And if second case, if p divides c, then again we have p divides a. So as p divides a and p divides c, which implies GCD of A and C is greater or equal by P. Since here we get the common divisor P for both integers A and C, then its GCD must be greater or equal by P. Therefore, in both the cases, GCD, either GCD of AB is greater or equal by P if P divides B, and if P divides C, then GCD of AC is greater or equal by B. Greater or equal by P, but P is a prime number. As P is a prime number, then it must be greater or equal by 2, since the smallest prime number will be 2. But here we have taken GCD of AB is equal to 1 and GCD of AC is equal to 1. Therefore, here we get a contradiction to our assumption, that is GCD of AB equal to 1 and GCD of AC equal to 1. Since here we get GCD of AB is greater or equal by P and GCD of AC is greater or equal by P. As P is a prime number, then it must be greater or equal by 2. So it will be a contradiction to our given statement. So, which is contradiction to GCD of AB equal to 1 and GCD of AC equal to 1. And this contradiction arises due to our wrong assumption. Which assumption? That is B1 is greater than 1. This will be a wrong assumption. As B1 is greater than 1 is a wrong assumption, then the correct statement will be D1 is must be equal to 1. As D1 is the greatest common divisor, then it is not less than 1. Therefore, there are only two possibilities, either D1 is equal to 1 or it is greater than 1. If we assume that D1 is greater than 1, then we get a contradiction. Then there is only one possibility for the value of D, which is D1 must be equal to 1. So, our assumption will be wrong. Wrong, which implies D1 must be equal to 1. But D1 is nothing but the GCD of A and BC, which implies GCD of A comma BC is equal to 1, and that is we have to do. Okay, कोणाला काही डाऊट यामध्ये? Okay, if there is no doubt, let's see the next result. If the n terms of an arithmetic progression are, that is, it has some common difference. Okay, if the n terms of an arithmetic progression are r plus m, or sorry, it can be written as 2m plus r plus m plus comma r plus 2m up to so on r plus n minus 1 into m with common difference m relatively prime to n, relatively prime to an integer n, then the remainder obtained when divided by n m is 0, 1, 2, 3. Sorry. Remainder obtained when divided by n is 0, 1, 2, 3 up to so on n minus 1. Okay, so we have to see this one. It's the solution. Okay, so here we have given that n terms of an arithmetic progression, that is, it means it has some common difference. Here we have taken the given r plus m, r plus 2m up to so on r plus n minus 1 m with the any n integers having common difference is m, and this m is relatively prime to n. Then we have to show that when we divide these m terms by n, then it will use the different reminders. That is, as there are here n integers and here we get n reminders, that is, it means each term belonging to this arithmetic progression will give a distinct reminder. Okay, that is we have to prove. Okay, so given that the n terms of the arithmetic progression are of r comma r plus m comma r plus 2m comma up to so on r plus n minus 1 into m. काही नाही, तुमच्याकडे फक्त तुम्हाला n टर्म्स दिलेत. इथं प्रूव्ह इतकंच करायचं आहे की ह्या n टर्म्स मधील कोणतेही दोन टर्म हे सेम रिमाइंडर देत नाहीत जेव्हा त्यांना आपण n न डिवाइड करणार आहे. इतकंच दाखवायचं आहे, कारण n टर्म्स आहेत आणि n रिमाइंडर येतात. याचा अर्थ हाच होतो की प्रत्येक जण वेगळा वेगळा रिमाइंडर देतो, तेव्हाच पॉसिबल आहे. जर त्यातले कोणते जरी दोन सेम रिमाइंडर दिले तर कोणता तरी एक रिमाइंडर माझा कमी येईल, कारण इथं टोटल माझ्याकडे n व्हॅल्यू आहेत रिमाइंडर साठी आणि nच इंटिजर आहेत. जर n इंटिजर साठी n रिमाइंडर येत असतील तर याचा अर्थ एकच होतो की प्रत्येक जण वेगळा रिमाइंडर देतो. फक्त हे प्रूव्ह करायचं आहे. ओके, so here we have n terms of the arithmetic progression and which are nothing but r plus m, r plus 2m up to so on r plus n minus 1 into m, and we have to show that these m terms, these n terms gives the different remainder when they divided by an integer n. Okay, now if possible, suppose that there exist at least two terms belonging to these n terms which gives the same remainder whenever they are divided by n. Okay, suppose that there are at least two terms will give the same remainder when they divided by n. When they divided by an integer n. Okay, let r plus xm and r plus ym be these two integers. Let r plus x into m and r plus y into m be these two integers, or be these two terms among these n terms where x and y are any two integers and y are two integers among the integers from 0 to n minus 1, two integers such that 0 is less equal by x, which is less than y, and which is less equal by n minus 1. Since as these are the x and y are the coefficient of this m, and here as they are only n terms and its coefficients are varying from 0 to n minus 1, then the possible values of x and y are 0 to n minus 1, and for our convenience we have assumed that x is less than y. That is, these are two different terms, then either x is less than y or y is less than x. So for our convenience we have taken x is less than y, and here we have supposed that these two integers r plus xm and r plus ym will give the same remainder when they divided by an integer n, which implies as they give the same remainder, then by the definition of congruence theory we know that a is congruent to b modulo n. Whenever a and b are two integers, they will give the same remainder when they divided by n, then only we say that a is congruent to b modulo n, which implies as here r plus xm and r plus ym will give the same remainder when they divided by n, then they are congruent, which implies r plus ym is congruent to r plus xm modulo n. Okay, again we know that if a plus c is congruent to b plus d modulo n, as r is same, if a is congruent to b modulo n, then a plus b is congruent, a is congruent to b modulo n, which implies a plus c is congruent to b plus c modulo n. As here this one is a is congruent to b modulo n, then a plus c is congruent to b plus c. Here take the value of c as a minus r, then plus r minus r gets cancelled, and we get ym is congruent to xm modulo n. Since a congruent to b modulo n implies a plus c congruent to b plus c modulo n for any arbitrary c. Okay, so here we will take the value of c as a minus r, then we get ym is congruent to xm modulo n. Again, we know that if AC is congruent to BC modulo n, then
A is congruent to B modulo n upon GCD of Cn.
Cn. As here we have given that m and n are two integers which are relatively prime. Therefore, its GCD must be equal to 1, which implies y is congruent to x modulo n. Since if AC is congruent to BC modulo n, then A is congruent to B modulo n upon GCD of C and n. But here m and n are two integers which are relatively prime. As they are relatively prime, then its GCD must be equal to 1. Then y is congruent to x modulo n upon GCD of m and n, and which is 1. Therefore, it is n itself. Okay. So as y is congruent to x modulo n, then by definition of congruence theory, n divides y minus x. Now, whether this one is possible? Here, x and y are two integers which lies between 0 to n minus 1. That is, x and y are both the integers which are strictly less than n, in which y is less than x. Whether it is possible that the difference of y minus y and x is divisible by an integer n?
No, sir.
So this one is not possible since y minus x is less than n. This one or this is not possible since y minus x is less than n. So this will be a contradiction since this one is never possible. Since x and y are two integers which are less than n, in which y is greater than x, then its difference must be less than 1. Since y minus x is less than n. Okay. So as this one is wrong, here we will get a contradiction. As this one is a contradiction, then our assumption will be wrong. Which assumption? That is the integers, the terms r plus xm and r plus ym will give the same remainder when they divided by n. So our assumption will be wrong. As our assumption is wrong, it means that as we have taken r plus xm and r plus ym are any two arbitrary integers, then it is true for all the values from 0 to n minus 1. That is, x and y vary from 0 to n minus 1. Therefore, from this we say that if we take any integer among these n terms, then they are not use the same remainder when they divided by n, which implies the terms r plus m, r plus 2m up to so on, r plus n minus 1 into m use the different remainder when they divided by n. As these terms are n in numbers, since here our n coefficient of m is varying from 0 to n minus 1, it means there are n possible values. As there are n terms and each one is gives the different remainder, then what are the possibilities for its remainder value? As here we divide these terms by n, then what are the possible remainder with respect to n?
0 to n minus 1.
0 to n minus 1. As here each of this r plus xm will give a different remainder when they divided by n, then the possible reminders are, then its reminders are zero, 1, 2, 3, so on n minus 1, and that is we have to prove, and hence the required result. Okay, कुणाला काही डाऊट यामध्ये? डिवाइड कशाने करणार आहे? यांनी करणार आहे. यांनी डिवाइड करणार आहे याचा अर्थ एखाद्या इंटिजरने जर तुम्ही दुसऱ्याला कर्णाला डिवाइड करणार असेल तर रिमाइंडरसाठी पॉसिबिलिटी काय येतात? ज्यांनी तुम्ही डिवाइड करणार आहे त्या इंटिजर यांनी जर करत असेल तर याच्या पॉसिबल रिमाइंडरची व्हॅल्यू 0, 1, 2, 3 अप टू सो n मायनस 1 पर्यंत येते. म्हणजे टोटल n पॉसिबिलिटी हे त्याच्या रिमाइंडरसाठी असतात. इथं फक्त तुम्हाला n टर्म दिलेले होते वेगळे, r प्लस m, r प्लस 2m अप टू सॉन r प्लस n मायनस 1 इंटू m, ज्यामध्ये त्या प्रत्येक टर्म मध्ये कॉमन डिफरन्स होता तो म्हणजे m होता आणि तो m हा रिलेटिव्हली प्राईम होता n सोबत. याच्यावरून प्रूव्ह इतकंच करायचं होतं की ह्या प्रत्येक जो n टर्म्स आहेत त्याला जर तुम्ही n डिवाइड जर केला तर प्रत्येक जण एक वेगळाच रिमाइंडर देतो, आणि जर प्रत्येक जण वेगळा जर रिमाइंडर देत असेल, आणखीन अशा टर्मची संख्या जर n असेल, प्रत्येक जण जर वेगळा दिला तर तो n वेगळे रिमाइंडर देईल. ते रिमाइंडर कोणते असतील, आता जर तुम्ही n डिवाइड करणार असेल तर यापैकीच कोणतं तर असेल, आणि तेच आपल्याला प्रूव्ह करायचं. ठीक आहे. ठीक आहे का डाऊट आहे? आवाज येते ना माझा?
Yes.
खरंच डाऊट नाही आहेत का सांगेन मला?
नो डाऊट सर.
नक्की का?
येस सर.
ठीक आहे. नाउ नेक्स्ट रिझल्ट विल बी an integer a is relatively prime to n if and only if its remainder with respect to n is relatively prime to n. ओके. सो या रिझल्ट मध्ये प्रूव्ह काय करायचं आहे, जर तुम्ही कोणताही एक इंटिजर जर घेतला तर तो दुसऱ्या इंटिजर सोबत जर रिलेटिव्हली प्राईम येतो. कधी येतो? जर त्या इंटिजरला तुम्ही त्या दुसऱ्या इंटिजरने डिवाइड केला आणि जे काही रिमाइंडर राहील तो सुद्धा जर रिलेटिव्हली प्राईम येत असेल त्या इंटिजर सोबत, तरच तुमचा दिलेला गिव्हन इंटिजर ए हा त्या n सोबत रिलेटिव्हली प्राईम येतो, नाही तर येत नाही. हे प्रूव्ह करायचं. ओके. सीट सोल्युशन. ओके. लेट r be the remainder. R be the remainder when a is divided by n. Divided by n. Then by division algorithm we can write this a as n into some 2 plus r whenever 0 is less equal by r and which is less than n. Since here we divide this a by n, then a must be a multiple of n plus some remainder. Okay. So we have taken r be the remainder when which is obtained by when we divide this a by n. Okay. Now we have to prove this if and only if statement. First we will assume that the GCD of a and n equal to 1, and we will prove the GCD of r and n is 1. And in second case we will take r and GCD of r and n is equal to 1, and we will prove GCD of a n is equal to 1. Okay. Now let GCD of two integers a and n equal to 1. Okay. Now let d be the, let d divides both r and n. ओके. काय केलं? फक्त जीसीडी ऑफ एन 1 केलं. प्रूव्ह काय करायचं आहे? जीसीडी ऑफ आर एन हा 1 प्रूव्ह करायचा आहे. आपण एक डिवायझर घेतला कोणाचा? आर आणखीन यांचा. जर समजा हा डी हा माझा ग्रेटर दॅन 1 असेल, आणखीन तो डिवाइड करत असेल जर आर आणखीन एन ला, आणखीन जर डी हा आर आणखीन एन ला जर डिवाइड करत असेल तर तो याच्या कोणत्याही लिनियर कॉम्बिनेशनला डिवाइड करेल. As it divides the any linear combination of r and n, then it must divides n into q plus r, which implies d divides a. Since d divides n and d divides r, it means it divides any linear combination of this r and n, which implies d divides a and d divides n. Okay, so here we get d is the common divisor of a and n. Then d must be less equal by GCD of a and n. असं घ्या किंवा डायरेक्ट एक्सप्लेन. डी डिवाइड करतो कोणाला कोणाला? ए आणखीन एन ला. आणखीन जर तुम्ही या डी ला 1 ला सोडून जर दुसरं मोठं इंटिजर आहे असं सपोज केला तर हा या जीसीडी ऑफ ए एन इक्वल टू 1 ला हा कॉन्ट्राडिक्ट करेल. करेल का? डी हा इंटिजर जर तुम्ही 1 पेक्षा मोठा आहे जर असं सपोज केला, डी फक्त सुरुवातीला काय घेतलं आपण, डी हा एक इंटिजर आहे जो डिवाइड करतो कोणाला, आर आणखीन एन ला करतो. आर आणखीन एन ला जर करत असेल तर तो याच्या कोणत्याही लिनियर कॉम्बिनेशनला करेल, म्हणजे तो एन क्यू प्लस आर लाही करेल, विच इम्प्लाइज डी डिवाइड्स ए. सो हिअर डी डिवाइड्स ए अँड डी डिवाइड्स एन. जर समजा डी ची व्हॅल्यू 1 ला सोडून जर मोठी असेल तर आणखीन डी जर डिवाइड करत असेल ए आणखीन एन ला, तर हे कॉन्ट्रॅडिक्ट करेल जीसीडी ऑफ ए एन इक्वल टू 1 ला.
येस सर.
कॉमन डिवायझर मिळतोय. हो, कॉमन डिवायझर मिळतो याचा अर्थ तो एक तर ग्रेटेस्ट असेल किंवा त्याच्यापेक्षा काहीतरी मोठा असेल. डी जर तुम्ही 1 पेक्षा मोठा केला तर जीसीडी ऑफ ए एन 1 नाही, 1 पेक्षा मोठा इंटिजर कसा जीसी परत कॉमन डिवायझर मिळेल? हे पॉसिबल आहे का कधी? विच इम्प्लाइज डी मस्ट बी इक्वल टू 1. as d must be equal to 1, then gcd of r and n must be equal to 1. म्हणजे जर जीसीडी ऑफ आर अँड 1 पेक्षा मोठा कधी येईल? जर त्याला काहीतरी डिवायझर 1 पेक्षा मोठा मिळाला तर. जर 1 पेक्षा मोठा डिवायझर मिळाला तर तो कॉन्ट्रॅडिक्ट करतोय जीसीडी ऑफ ए एन इक्वल टू 1 ला, म्हणजे तसा मोठा डिवायझर मला मिळणारच नाही. जर मिळाला तरी तो काय असेल? 1च असेल. ठीक आहे, कळते ना? कळते का नाही कळत?
समजते सर.
ठीक आहे. Similarly, if suppose GCD of R and N equal to 1 and D1 be the integer which divides both R, A and N, divides A and N, as D1 be any integer which divides A and N, again D1 divides any linear combination of A and N, then which implies D1 divides A minus N cube. A minus N cube is nothing but R. Since D1 divides A and N, then it divides any linear combination, that is A minus N cube, which implies D1 divides A and D1 divides R. So here we get the common divisor of A and R. If we have supposed that this D1 is greater than 1, if D1 is greater than 1, then it is a common divisor of A and R, then it must be greater equal by 1. Again, which will be a contradiction to our assumption that supposition that GCD of R and N equal to 1. Therefore, this D1 is not greater than 1. As it is not greater than 1, then it must be it must be equal to 1. Since it is a D1 is a GCD, therefore there is only one possibility that it must be greater equal by 1, which implies D1 equal to 1. That is GCD of A and N will be equal to 1. Since if we take any common divisor other than 1 of A and N, then it contradicts to GCD of Rn will be equal to 1. Therefore, such a divisor is not possible. So GCD of A and N must be equal to 1. So this will be an if and only statement. ठीक है? Now let S be a set which contains n element. Yes, which contains elements R, R plus m, R plus 2m, up to so on R plus n minus 1 into m. R n terms of arithmetic progression whose common difference m relatively prime to n, prime to n, then there are exactly 5 of n integers which are relatively prime to n, prime to n in S. That is the we have to show. Okay, so here we have given one set S which contains n elements, that is R, R plus m, r plus 2m up to so on r plus n minus 1 into m. These are the n terms of our arithmetic progression. Having common difference is m, and this m is relatively prime to n. And from that we have to prove that this set contains phi of n integers which are relatively prime to n. That is we have to prove. Okay, see its solution. We have given a set yes, given that set yes which contains r plus m up to so on r plus n minus 1 into m are the n in n terms. Okay, now in previous theorem we have proved that if r plus m up to so on r plus n minus 1 into m are the n terms of the arithmetic progression having common difference is m and which is relatively prime to n, then they will give the different remainder when they divided by n. Okay, so from previous theorem or previous result, each term of yes will give the different remainder when divided by n. Okay, as each term will give one different remainder, then the possible remainder set will be, which implies the possible reminders are
0 to n minus 1.
reminders are 0 to n minus 1. 0, 1, 2, 3, up to so on n minus 1. Let us construct this one another set as s1. Okay, so s1 contains all those reminders which will give the s1 be the reminders of all the possible values of these n terms. Okay, now we know that phi of n is nothing but the number of integers which are less than or equal to n and which are relatively prime to n. As n is any integer, then the number of integers which are less than or equal to n are nothing but these integers, that is 0, 1, 2, 3 up to so on n minus 1 are the integers which are less than n, and n is not relatively prime to itself. Therefore the integers which are relatively prime to n are nothing but these integers, that is 0, 1, 2, 3 up to so on n minus 1. Among these n integers, how many integers are relatively prime to n? के एखाद्या इंटिजरला रिलेटिव्हली प्राइम नंबर किती आहे ते कसं काउंट करतो, त्याच्यापेक्षा लहान असलेली किती नंबरचा जीसीडी त्याच्यासोबत 1 येतो हे पाहतो ना आपण. तर हा जर माझा सेट असेल ज्यामध्ये n एलिमेंट आहेत, तर यामधून n सोबत रिलेटिव्हली प्राइम असणारे नंबर किती असतील? हाय अप n असतील ना. असतील का?
येस सर.
एक n आहे हो माझ्याकडे, हा n आहे. तर याला रिलेटिव्हली प्राइम नंबर असणारे आणखी याच्यापेक्षा लहान असणारे नंबर कोणते असू शकतात? हे 0 to n minus 1 पर्यंत असतात. जर तुम्ही n greater than 1 जर घेतलात तर तो स्वतःला कधीच ही करत नाही, रिलेटिव्हली प्राइम नाहीये. कारण रिलेटिव्हली प्राइम म्हणजे त्यांचा जीसीडी 1 आला पाहिजे. जर n greater than 1 असेल तर तो कधी जीसीडी ऑफ 2,2 कधी 1 येईल का? कुठल्या इंटिजर सोबत येईल का? नाही येणार. म्हणजे n ला सोडून द्या, म्हणजे ही इतकी माझे पॉसिबल व्हॅल्यू येतील. यामधून n सोबत रिलेटिव्हली प्राइम असणारे किती नंबर असतील? phi of n असतील. सो देयर आर phi of n elements in S1 which are relatively prime to an integer n. Okay, but we know that again in previous one, here we have proved that any integer is relatively prime to n if and only if its remainder is relatively prime to n. As here the remainders are relatively prime to n are phi of n in number, then how many terms belonging to this set are relatively prime to n? S1 सेट मध्ये S च्या सेट मधील एलिमेंटचे रिमाइंडर आहेत. ठीक आहे, ते रिमाइंडर आहेत आणखी प्रिव्हियस रिझल्ट मध्ये प्रूव्ह काय केलं आपण, एखादा इंटिजर हा दुसऱ्या इंटिजरशी रिलेटिव्हली प्राईम कधी होतो, जर त्या इंटिजरचा रिमाइंडर हा सुद्धा त्या इंटिजर सोबत जर रिलेटिव्हली प्राईम येत असेल तर तो दिलेला इंटिजर ए सुद्धा एन सोबत रिलेटिव्हली प्राईम असतो. हे माझे दिलेले टर्म्स मधले इंटिजर काहीतरी आहेत, आर प्लस एम, आर प्लस 2m अप टू सो ऑन आर प्लस एन मायनस 1 इंटू एम. आणखी फाइंड आउट काय करायचं ऍक्च्युली तुम्हाला, या एस मधून मला फाय ऑफ एन इंटिजर्स हे एन सोबत रिलेटिव्हली प्राईम येते हे दाखवायचं होतं. त्यासाठी आपण काय केलं, ह्या सेटला आहे तसं घेतलं आणि मागच्या रिझल्टचं यूज केलं. या टर्म्स मधून एकही टर्म ही म्हणजे त्यातले कमीत कमी 2 टर्म ही सेम रिमाइंडर देते, म्हणजे याचा अर्थ प्रत्येक जण वेगळा रिमाइंडर देतो. प्रत्येक जण वेगळा रिमाइंडर देतो तर ते किती रिमाइंडर देतील, 0 to n-1 पर्यंत n वेगवेगळे रिमाइंडर मिळाले मला. आणखीन त्या 0 to n-1 मधून फाय ऑफ n एलिमेंट आहेत जे की रिलेटिव्हली प्राईम टू आहेत n ला. आणखीन हे रिमाइंडर कोणाचे आहेत, एसच्या एलिमेंटचे आहेत. तर त्या एसच्या एलिमेंट मधून किती एलिमेंट हे रिलेटिव्हली प्राईम असतील n सोबत, कळतंय का नाही? आवाज येते का माझा? आवाज येते ना?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
हो नाही काहीतरी सांगा की हो बघा, हे कळतंय का नाही? यस हा माझा सेट आहे. यस सेट मध्ये किती एलिमेंट आहेत, n एलिमेंट आहेत. आणखीन मला प्रूव्ह काय करायचं आहे, या n एलिमेंट मधून मला फाय ऑफ n एलिमेंट असे मिळणार आहेत जे की रिलेटिव्हली प्राईम आहेत n सोबत, हे मला दाखवायचं आहे. ठीक आहे, त्यासाठी काय केलं, फक्त यस एलिमेंट आहेत तसे घेतले. किती आहेत ते, याचे एलिमेंट n आहेत. आणखीन आपण मागच्या 2 रिझल्ट मध्ये एका ठिकाणी प्रूव्ह केलंय की या इंटिजर मधून, म्हणजे जर अरिथमेटिक प्रोग्रेशनचे माझ्याकडे जर n टर्म असतील तर त्या टर्मला जर तुम्ही n नी डिवाइड केला तर कोणीही सेम रिमाइंडर देत नाही. सेम देत नाही याचा अर्थ प्रत्येक जण वेगळा वेगळा रिमाइंडर देतो. जर हे टर्म्स n नंबर आहेत, म्हणजे n टोटल टर्म्स n आहेत, प्रत्येक जण वेगळा टर्म देतो, वेगळा रिमाइंडर देतो, याचा अर्थ n रिमाइंडर मिळते मला. n रिमाइंडर का, n न डिवाइड करणार आहे, आणखी n रिमाइंडर मिळतात, तर रिमाइंडर कुठून कुठपर्यंत असतील, 0 to n-1 पर्यंत असतील. मग मला टोटल किती मिळाले, n रिमाइंडर मिळाले. आणखीन या प्रिव्हियस मध्ये आपण प्रूव्ह काय केलंय, एखादा इंटिजर ए हा दुसऱ्या इंटिजर सोबत n सोबत रिलेटिव्हली प्राईम कधी असतो, जर तुम्ही या ए ला डिवाइड केला आणि काहीतरी रिमाइंडर जर माझा मिळाला, तो रिमाइंडर सुद्धा n सोबत जर रिलेटिव्हली प्राईम असेल तरच ए हा रिलेटिव्हली प्राईम असतो n सोबत. ठीक आहे, मग माझ्याकडे हे टोटल 0 to n-1 पर्यंतचे इंटिजर आहेत. यामधून बाय डेफिनेशन ऑफ युलर्स फंक्शन the integers which are relatively prime to n are nothing but phi of n in number. Therefore, there are phi of n elements belonging to set S1 which are relatively prime to n. मग प्रिव्हियस रिझल्ट यूज करायचा जो की रिमाइंडर साठी रिलेटिव्हली प्राईम असेल, रिमाइंडर रिलेटिव्हली प्राईम असेल तर ओरिजिनल इंटिजर सुद्धा रिलेटिव्हली प्राईम असतात. जर यातले फाय ऑफ n एलिमेंट रिलेटिव्हली प्राईम असतील n सोबत, तर यातूनही मला फाय ऑफ n एलिमेंटच मिळतील जे की रिलेटिव्हली प्राईम असतील n सोबत, कारण यातल्या एलिमेंटचे रिमाइंडरच इथं आहेत. म्हणजे जो रिमाइंडर रिलेटिव्हली प्राईम आहे n सोबत, त्याच्या करस्पॉन्डिंग जो मल्टिपल मध्ये होता तो रिलेटिव्हली प्राईम असेल n सोबत. ठीक आहे, so there are exactly phi of n integers or phi of terms are relatively prime to n in set S. Okay, well, काही डाऊट? आहे का? मी बोलणार नसेल तर बंद करतो बघा मी लेक्चर.